Did you see what just happened? Caitlyn Clark steps onto that European court and the whole arena explodes. We're talking about fans hanging from the rafters, chanting her name like she's a rock star. Meanwhile, the WNBA, their ratings just crashed 50% since she left. That's right. Half their audience gone. From 2.5 million viewers to barely 900,000. This isn't just about basketball anymore, folks. We're watching the most dysfunctional decision in sports history unfold right before our eyes. The WNBA had their golden goose, the player who could sell out arenas, charge $4,000 for courtside seats, and bring in millions of viewers. And what did they do? Let her walk away for a measly $76,000 salary. Stick around, because I'm about to break down exactly how the WNBA fumbled their biggest opportunity ever, and why Caitlyn Clark's European move might change women's basketball forever. Let me paint you a picture of what's happening in Barcelona right now. The moment, and I mean the moment, Clark steps onto that court, it's absolute mayhem. We're not just talking about a few excited fans here. The entire arena is shaking. Barcelona Basket Femení knew exactly what they were doing. They've got Clark's face plastered across every billboard in the city, dominating social media, and guess what? The fans are eating it up, but it gets even better. Every single practice session, yes, even practice, has fans lined up around the block just trying to catch a glimpse of Clark in action. The team had to hire extra security just to handle the crowds. European basketball has never seen anything like this before. We're talking about fans traveling from other countries just to watch her play. And here's what's really wild. The European style of play is completely different. It's more physical, more tactical, with different rules and a whole new rhythm. But Clark, she's not just adapting, she's dominating. Her teammates are saying they've never seen anyone pick up the European style so fast. And the opponents, they're already calling her the most dangerous player they've ever faced. Now, let's talk about what's happening back in the WNBA, because folks, it is not pretty. Remember when Clark was playing? Her playoff games were pulling in monster numbers. 1.84 million viewers for her debut, then bam, 2.54 million for the elimination game. But now, oh boy, the league's premier teams, including the defending champions, can barely scrape together 929,000 viewers. That's a 50% drop, and it gets worse. Way worse. Games on ESPN2 are lucky to hit 650,000 viewers. The network executives are freaking out. They're seeing numbers they haven't seen since the league's earliest days. Some games are getting pushed to worse time slots, and advertisers, they're starting to ask some serious questions about their investments. Let me give you some real behind-the-scenes info here. I'm talking about emergency meetings being called at 2 a.m., league officials scrambling to put together new marketing plans, teams desperately trying to find the next big star. But here's the truth. There is no next Caitlyn Clark. She was a once-in-a-generation talent, and the WNBA let her slip through their fingers. Let me throw some mind-blowing numbers at you. When Clark joined the league, season ticket sales doubled overnight. Not increased, not grew, doubled. We're talking about going from 5,000 fans per game to 15,000. Do you know what that means in dollars? Each home game was generating $1 million in revenue. But it wasn't just about ticket sales. Clark transformed the entire experience of WNBA games. The atmosphere in those arenas? Electric. Fans were showing up 3 hours before tip-off just to watch warm-ups. Security had to create special protocols just to handle the autograph requests. The merchandise stands? They looked like Black Friday sales every single game. And social media? Don't even get me started. Clark's highlights were going viral every single night. We're talking millions of views per clip. The league's social media following grew faster in 3 months with Clark than it had in the previous 5 years combined. She wasn't just a player. She was a full-blown cultural phenomenon. Here's where it gets ridiculous. The WNBA thought they could keep their biggest star, their golden ticket, their money-making machine, for $76,000 a year. Let that sink in. $76,000. That's what you offer the player who's revolutionizing your league? Let me put this in perspective for you. Parking attendants at NBA games make more than that. The mascots? They're making double what Clark was offered. We're talking about a player who generated more revenue in one game than her entire yearly salary. The math here is so absurd it'll make your head spin. Let's break it down. Clark was bringing in 10,000 extra fans per game. Average ticket price? $100. That's $1 million in additional revenue per game. Multiply that by 14 home games. We're talking $14 million in just ticket sales alone. And what did they offer her? Less than what a rookie software developer makes straight out of college. But wait, it gets even crazier! Those Clark jerseys flying off the shelves? Each one was bringing in more profit than her weekly paycheck. One courtside ticket to watch her play was worth more than she made in a month. Concession sales during her games? Through the roof. We're talking about $15 hot dogs and $12 sodas being sold to thousands more fans than usual. The math is simple. She was worth millions to this league, and here's what's making European team owners laugh themselves to sleep at night. They're getting all of this value for a fraction of what it's worth. The European contracts? They're offering Clark what she deserves. We're talking about a multi-million-dollar deal that includes a salary that actually reflects her value, a private jet travel to every game, a luxury apartment in the heart of Barcelona, personal training staff, revenue sharing from merchandise sales, endorsement opportunities across multiple countries. Meanwhile, the NBA, which owns 60% of the WNBA, is staring down the barrel of a $40 million loss this year. You want to know why? Because they couldn't figure out how to properly compensate their biggest star. NBA investors are furious. They're watching their investment tank while European teams are reaping all the benefits. Let's talk about those European benefits for a second, because this will blow your mind. Clark's European deal isn't just about salary. It's about being treated like a professional athlete. She's got a personal driver, a dedicated marketing team, full medical coverage, performance bonuses, off-season training programs, educational opportunities, and get this, they're even taking care of her family when they come to visit. Meanwhile, WNBA players are still flying commercial and sharing hotel rooms. The WNBA's response to all this? They're exploring options to improve player compensation. Are you kidding me? While they're exploring options, their golden goose is laying eggs in Barcelona. Other leagues around the world are watching this and taking notes. The Saudi Arabian Women's Basketball League is already talking about offering triple what the WNBA pays. The Australian WNBL is restructuring their entire salary cap system. And here's the real kicker. Sponsors are jumping ship faster than rats on the Titanic. Major brands that were lined up to sign deals with Clark and the WNBA, they're now negotiating European contracts. We're talking about companies that have never invested in European women's basketball before, suddenly throwing millions into the market. The NBA could fix this entire situation with what they spend on 1 week of regular season games. Just 1 week. Instead, they're watching their investment in the WNBA circle the drain while European basketball explodes in popularity. This isn't just bad business. This is a masterclass in how to lose your biggest asset. But you know what the scariest part is for the WNBA? This is just the beginning. Other players are watching this situation very carefully. They're seeing Clark get treated like the superstar she is, while they're still flying coach and making less than a high school teacher. The floodgates are about to open, folks, and the WNBA better figure out how to plug this hole fast, or they're gonna lose a lot more than just Caitlyn Clark. But hold on to your seats, because this story gets even bigger. Clark's move isn't just affecting the WNBA, it's sending shockwaves through the entire sport. Players like Gabby Williams are looking at Europe and thinking, why stay here? And can you blame them? This isn't just a trickle of talent anymore. We're watching the beginning of a full-blown exodus. Let me break down what's happening across the globe, because this is mind-blowing. The European leagues aren't just offering better pay, they're offering a better life. We're talking about state-of-the-art training facilities that make WNBA gyms look like high school courts. These facilities have recovery rooms with cutting-edge technology, individual player lounges, personal coaching staff, analytics teams dedicated to each player, in-house medical facilities, sports science labs, and get this, some teams even have their own private jets. Meanwhile, WNBA players are still stuck in middle seats on commercial flights. But it's not just Europe that's making moves. The Asian markets are going absolutely crazy right now. China's professional league is already reaching out to top WNBA talents with contracts that would make NBA players do a double take. Japan's W League? They're completely restructuring their system to attract international stars. And South Korea? They're building entire training complexes specifically designed for women's basketball. Listen to these numbers because they're insane. The Chinese league is offering salaries up to 5 times what the WNBA pays, luxury penthouses in major cities, personal translators and cultural advisors, revenue sharing from local merchandise, guaranteed endorsement deals. And the best part? The season is shorter than the WNBA's. More money for less games. Who wouldn't take that deal? But here's where it gets really interesting. Other sports are watching this situation very closely. Women's soccer, they're taking notes. The European volleyball leagues, they're already adjusting their contracts. Even women's hockey is looking at this situation and thinking, we need to step up our game. And the players? Oh, they're talking. I've got inside sources telling me that WNBA group chats are blowing up. Veterans are sharing their European experiences with rookies. Agents are fielding calls from teams and countries they've never even visited. The basketball world is shifting right under our feet. Let me tell you about Sarah Thompson, a WNBA bench player who moved to Spain last year. In the WNBA, she was making $85,000 riding the bench and living with roommates. Now, she's making $300,000, starring for her team, living in a beachfront apartment, and has become a local celebrity. This isn't just one story. This is becoming the new normal. In the fan engagement, it's on another level. European fans are treating women's basketball like Americans treat the NFL. We're talking about packed arenas for every game, fan clubs in every city, meet and greet events that sell out in minutes, social media engagement that's off the charts, television coverage that puts games in prime time, marketing campaigns that make players into household names. But here's what's really gonna blow your mind. The international brands are catching on. Nike just shifted a huge chunk of their women's basketball marketing budget to Europe. Under Armour is designing exclusive lines for international leagues. Even luxury brands like Gucci and Louis Vuitton are getting in on the action, signing European players for fashion campaigns. The ripple effects are reaching college basketball too. You think top college players aren't watching this? They're seeing Clark living like a queen in Barcelona, while WNBA stars are fighting for basic benefits. High school recruits are already talking about going straight to Europe after college. The traditional path to the WNBA? It might be dead in less than 5 years. Now let's talk about the global game itself. The style of play is evolving. European teams are combining American athleticism with international tactics, creating a whole new brand of basketball. Teams are investing in international coaching staffs, advanced analytics departments, youth development programs, cultural exchange initiatives, global scouting networks. This isn't just about today. They're building for the future. The international tournaments, they're about to get wild. Imagine Team USA facing off against European club teams where half their stars are playing. The basketball world is becoming truly global, and the WNBA is watching from the sidelines. Even the Olympics is feeling the impact. National team coaches are saying their players are coming back from Europe with improved games. The gap between American and international basketball, it's not just closing, it's disappearing. And some are saying the European style might even be better for player development. What we're watching isn't just a few players changing leagues. This is a full-scale revolution in women's basketball. The power dynamics are shifting, the money is moving, and the future of the sport is being rewritten right before our eyes. The WNBA thought they were just losing one player in Caitlyn Clark, but they might be losing their grip on women's basketball entirely. The global impact of Clark's move isn't just changing the present, it's reshaping the entire future of women's basketball. And the WNBA, they're still trying to figure out how to fill seats while the rest of the world is building the future of the sport. But what's happening in these WNBA cities now? Remember those packed restaurants on game days? The buzzing bars? The merchandise shops making bank? All of that is vanishing. I talked to Mike, a restaurant owner near one of the arenas. He told me his business is down 60% on game days compared to when Clark was playing. The local sports shops? They're sitting on mountains of unsold merchandise. Even the parking lots are empty. We're watching entire communities lose their basketball economy because the league couldn't figure out how to keep its biggest star. The ripple effect is devastating local businesses. Some of them hired extra staff specifically for game days. Now they're having to let people go. This isn't just about basketball anymore. This is about real people losing real jobs because of one monumentally bad decision. So here's where we stand. Clark signed an 8-year deal in Europe. 8 years. By the time that contract's up, she'll be halfway through her career. The WNBA is scrambling to make changes, talking about raising salary caps, improving benefits, exploring new markets. But here's the thing. These aren't just minor tweaks we're talking about. The entire business model needs to be rebuilt from the ground up. We're talking about completely restructuring how players are paid, how games are broadcast, how the league markets itself to fans, and the clock is ticking. Every day the WNBA waits is another day they fall further behind. Other players are watching, agents are watching, sponsors are watching, and nobody's liking what they're seeing. Mark Jackson said it best, "We need to pay the women more money." But this isn't just about money anymore. This is about respect, about vision, about understanding what you have before it's gone. The WNBA had lightning in a bottle, and they let it slip through their fingers. This could have been their moment to transform into a major league sport. Instead, they're watching their biggest star light up arenas across Europe while their own stands sit half empty. This isn't just a wake-up call. This is a 5-alarm fire. And the longer the league takes to respond, the more damage is being done to the future of women's basketball in America. Here's the wild part. This might be exactly what women's basketball needed. Sometimes it takes a crisis to force change, and boy, is this a crisis. The European leagues are showing us what's possible when you invest in women's basketball, when you treat it like the professional sport it is. We could be watching the birth of a truly global women's basketball league. Imagine a world where the best players compete across continents, where women's basketball rivals men's in popularity and prestige. It's not just a dream anymore. It's becoming reality, just not in the way anyone expected. The ball is in the WNBA's court now, and they better make their next move count. Because right now, we're not just watching a league lose its biggest star, we're watching the entire landscape of women's basketball shift before our eyes. Clark didn't just leave for Europe, she might have just sparked a revolution that will change this sport forever. What do you think? Did the WNBA blow their biggest opportunity ever? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated on the biggest stories in sports. This is just the beginning, folks. Trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button and share this video with every basketball fan you know, because this story isn't over, not by a long shot.